Alright guys, let's talk about lesson 1, which is what is organic chemistry and what, more specifically, is an organic compound. Organic chemistry is the study of carbon-containing compounds. An organic compound contains primarily carbon and hydrogen. We're going to learn that it can also contain other things such as oxygen and nitrogen. And the major sources of organic compounds are petroleum, coal, wood, plants, and animals. All right, so why is carbon so special? Carbon is so special because it has specific properties. The specific properties are that it can form 4 covalent bonds, which may be single, double, or triply bonded. This is due to the fact that it has 4 unpaired electrons. So when you look at the electron dot structure of carbon, it has 4 dots around it, which are unpaired. So it's looking to bond covalently, which means it's going to share those electrons with those 4 electrons to give it 8. And it's going to have a tetrahedral shape. Properties of organic compounds. They're generally nonpolar. They're insoluble in water. Remember, like dissolves like from our last unit. But they are soluble in nonpolar substances. They're poor conductors of electricity. And that is because they are non-electrolytes. And that's primarily because nonpolar things do not form ions. They're mostly made up of carbon and hydrogen, which are 2 nonmetals. They're going to be covalently bonded together, and they are not going to dissociate and form ions when they dissolve in water. They have very low melting points due to their weak intermolecular forces. And they're flammable. So when we look at 2 carbon chains next to each other, this interaction right here, this intermolecular force, is extremely weak, which makes them combustible. They can explode, they can go from a liquid to a gas phase very quickly. The carbon-carbon bond between them is strong though, but the intermolecular forces between these 2 carbon-carbon molecules is extremely weak. So let's remember that there are types of bonds. There are single bonds, which is a single covalent bond in which they share 1 pair of electrons or 2 electrons. And that is because each carbon atom is going to share those 2 electrons, making that a bond. Or there's a double bond in which carbon atoms may share 2 pairs of electrons to form a double bond. So if we have 2 carbons next to each other and they want to fulfill their octet, they will share 2 pairs of electrons. Or there's a triple bond where the carbon atoms may share 3 pairs of electrons to form a triple bond. And if we look at the Lewis dot structures, that's what that looks like. So let's check our understanding. Which substance would be a better solvent for CH4? If you're having trouble differentiating between these substances, then I suggest you revisit the molecular polarity lesson in the bonding unit, which would be unit 7. So what I want you to do is look through. Remember, if this is going to be a good solvent for CH4, polarity needs to be the same, and we'll talk about this first thing tomorrow.